Hey, what's going on, guys? Your BFF Snowy Oreo 663 here, right now, and I'm joined with my brother Kyle, aka Moody Blues 27, and we are now on to the great Disney movies. The ones that are really awesome, that are just shy of being masterpieces.
You sound like Fortnite locations.
Where we drop it, boy.
They need to add Captain Hook to Fortnite.
No.
Okay, so first we got Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and set out straight. This movie's for the boys. Do not show this movie to your small children that are women.
Because it's very sexist.
It's very sexist, but it's hilarious. I'm just gonna go through the negatives. Negatives are that it's racist. There's a song about what makes the red man red.
They're referring to the Indians.
It's kind of sexist. Mainly because it's a movie for the boys. Screw you, women. I mean, other than that, there's really... Like, on my paper, I literally just put mild racism.
Mild? Why are all the females in the movie horny for Peter Pan?
Have you not seen that, hunk?
He has that red hair.
Hubba,
But he's
hubba.
16, so no.
Okay, so Captain Hook. Holy shit. I love Captain Hook.
And TikTok. And Smeed!
Schmeed.
All the villains.
The villains are by far the... Well, not by far, but they're the best things in the movie. Captain Hook is such an iconic villain. Schmeed is hilarious, and TikTok...
Did you say Schmeed?
It's a Schmeed.
Schmeed.
Isn't it Schmeed?
It's Smee.
Smeed.
No, Smee.
Smee?
Yes, S-M-E-E. No.
Okay, so Schmeed is hilarious. He's... I love him. I love his
Captain.
Master. And TikTok is genuinely terrifying.
Not the app, you degenerates.
Yeah, the 1953 TikTok.
The crocodile, you should
Yeah.
say. I love him so much.
He's
little
terrifying.
the eating of the clock is just so cool.
And then seeing his eyes go up every time
Yeah.
it ticks.
That's awesome.
And Tinkerbell's dummy thick.
I didn't realize how much of a jerk frickin' Tinkerbell is. She tries to get Wendy killed on multiple occasions. Yeah. And the mermaids try to kill Wendy, too.
It's because they're trying to get with Peter Pan, bro. They're trying to
They're mermaids! They don't have anything to f with! And frickin' Tinkerbell's like that tall!
That scene of Tinkerbell getting to the lock is the first of many scenes Disney made that was horny. Because I'm pretty sure this is the first scene.
Many children's sexual awakening.
Was Tinkerbell.
I love Nana.
Nana's good.
Nana's cute. The dad, I actually think, was done pretty well.
Yeah, the dad...
he was an asshole in the beginning, but, you kind of get where he's coming from, because he feels like he's not important in the family. But the way it ends...
You know, I have the strangest feeling that I've seen that ship before, when I was very young.
So he's been in Neverland too.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. The whole thing is just so iconic. And Neverland is one of those places that every kid wants to go to.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the second star to the right, straight on till morning. Everyone knows Peter Pan. What a lot of people don't know is that in the original book, whenever one of the Lost Boys is ready to grow up, Peter Pan murders them.
Oh, brother. Bringing up the book. You know Disney doesn't hold true to anything.
And also the mermaids are murderous on purpose. To everyone.
So yeah, Peter Pan's pretty good. We both enjoyed it. My favorite character was TikTok.
Mine was TikTok as well.
Yeah. And then my favorite song was the leader song, Following the Leader.
Mine was The Pirate's Life.
Pirate Life.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene was the Tinkerbell box.
Sorry, could you repeat that a little louder than my...
It was the Tinkerbell box, okay?
My favorite scene was the ending with the father.
Yeah.
And now you got a monologue. You sly dog, you got me monologuing. Do we even need to go into the plot?
So Frozen.
Everyone knows Frozen. You've all seen Frozen. You've all had that song stuck in your head. I get it.
Pick some blood.
But although I don't like this film as much as I did when I first saw it, I rated this based on how I felt when I first saw it, and I was one of the Frozen nuts. I wasn't obsessed with Let It Go. Honestly, when I came out of the theater, my favorite song was In Summer, which is the song that Olaf sings.
That's the best song.
Not anymore. These two sisters, which I think Elsa has... I think what they tried to show is that she was depressed from being away from everyone, but they didn't show enough of it. And,
I think the parents are assholes.
The parents are horrible for locking her away like that.
Because, like...
That's just going to make it worse. The more nervous she is, the worse it gets.
I remember we had a talk about this. I don't remember our talk at all.
Do you remember what the parents' names are?
Nope.
Agnar and Iduna. Olaf was not annoying in this one. Kristoff was a really nice guy, and Sven was great, and everyone loves...
Okay.
Big some applause. By the way, that's in the ride. When you're waiting in line, you actually go through his place, and he's sitting there screening. He's like,
we need to go. We need to go now, Liz. Everyone knows Hans' ass. Like, it's just... His motivations are just ass. He has no motivation.
He had the opportunity to kill Elsa.
And, like...
And he didn't.
Like, if you're gonna be a villain, just be the villain from the beginning, or at least
just let her die before you leave the room so someone can save her?
We all hate on Kabuki Mask. This is what I was talking about earlier. At least Kabuki Mask has somewhat of a motive, like, you know, his daughter was killed by the guy he's trying to get revenge on. Mm-hmm. Hans is like, oh, I want to be leader.
Thing is, royalty doesn't work like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, you know, it's about blood, not marriage, so if Anna died, then Hans would not be king. It would be the next person who's related to them.
Whoever's related,
yeah.
I think Hans is the worst twist villain. The trolls are ass, but
other than the Trolls song, all the songs in this movie are great.
All the songs are bops.
Even Let It Go. Let It Go is a very good song. Yeah. Although it's been overplayed, it's still very good. And I often hate it when in like romantic comedies the two are put together because people keep trying to forcing them. Like that's not
like, and the thing was, I genuinely believed Kristoff and Anna was going to be a couple. I didn't need these trolls to tell me, they're getting together.
When I went into the movie theater, I saw a bunch of ads for it, and Hans was not featured in any of the marketing, except for Kristoff was. So when I saw him get the thing with Anna, I'm like, something's up.
Yeah, they're
He's either gonna die, or, like, he's gonna be the villain. Like, those are my only options. Because, like, there ain't no way they wouldn't put the main love interest in the trailer. So, like, that's why I don't watch trailers anymore.
This is the reason why I really hated Frozen 2, because it took everything Frozen 1 did and didn't use it. It just went blank.
Yeah, the score was good in this one. I like that too.
The score was great. I mean, the score was good in the second one, but then again, I mean...
The thing I always wondered is, Anna and Hans met at a party, which is a reasonable setting you would meet your future spouse, and you don't get together, but you go on an adventure with some guy. Anyway, wouldn't it make more sense if Hans fell in love with Anna, and then Kristoff, who loves ice, fell in love with the Ice Queen? Doesn't that make more sense?
I mean, yeah.
I liked Hans at the beginning. Like when
everyone did. Whenever he does the little smile, you can genuinely tell, he actually loves her. That's the whole reason why I don't like him as a twist villain, because at the beginning you're like, and then whenever Anna's gone, he actually takes care of the place.
He's giving out cloaks and giving them soup and inviting them into the castle. Like,
and this is why he's my least favorite, because he has actual care for Anna, and then just like, I don't want Anna anymore. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Oh, Anna, if only there was someone out there who loved you.
That line makes me want to shit myself. My favorite character was Oaken.
Mine was Anna.
My favorite song was Love Oaken.
Wasn't a song, but okay. My favorite song is Frozen Heart, aka the Iceman song. I'm like the only one on the planet who actually likes that song.
Because you can't understand what they're saying.
Born a cold and winter lair and mountain rain combining this icy force.
How many times have you listened to it?
Frozen hardware binding, so cut through the heart, cold and clear. Strike for flying, strike for see the beauty sharp and clear. Split the ice apart, beware the frozen heart.
See, that's cringe. You just cringed yourself. My favorite scene is the Oaken Tavern. I mean, it's hilarious.
My favorite scene is Elsa running away, because I liked when she walked across the thing. Ooby-doo, I wanna be like you.
Jungle Book. Everyone knows this film.
Everyone knows the story. The thing is, a lot of people tell me that it's boring upon rewatch. This was a bop. This was great.
It's the first movie where there really is no moral or anything besides.
Well, the moral is know where you belong. Yeah. But I feel like
other than that, I mean, it's just a vibe movie. It's just.
This kid just vibes with a bunch of jungle animals.
Bro,
And
I'm gonna tell you the thing that really shocked me from my memories. I did not remember the elephants at all, and those
Yeah.
guys were hilarious.
they were great. I
I
love
love the
kid.
baby elephant.
He was so
He
cute.
was so cute.
Yeah, Mowgli is kind of annoying a little bit because he just whines all the time, but
Yeah.
everyone else is great. Everyone knows Baloo. Baloo was my thing as a child. I had a giant stuffed Baloo. Every single song. Kaa is great. Shere Khan is great.
Yeah.
The monkeys are great.
This movie is almost if this movie just wasn't paced so weirdly,
Yeah,
it would be a masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's the only thing holding this thing back.
And also they reused a lot of animation in this one.
And yeah, there is reused animation.
It's kind of distracting, and actually, because they just use the same clip multiple times.
Yeah.
Like I get the budget was low, but like this was the first film released after Walt Disney died, so I'm sure they were having a bit of trouble. I love Bare Necessities, even the ending song that I would go to fetch the water.
Yeah.
Like that was nice. I could not decide whether I liked Bare Necessities or I Want to Be Like You more. King Louie is often overlooked.
He's my favorite character.
Yeah. Yeah.
King
Well,
Louie. I love King Louie.
a lot of people overlook him, and that's like one of the strangest villain songs because it's not sinister. It's upbeat.
It's the bop.
The only one I can compare it to is Mother Knows Best in terms of the tempo because it's upbeat and happy.
That or Friends on the Other Side.
No, that's
maybe.
dark still. I don't like the ending. Everything else is wonderful. I don't know. It's kind of the opposite of Tarzan because like he learns to go be with his people because that's where he belongs, with the people. But like he belongs in the jungle.
Yeah.
That's where he's supposed to be. That's what I kind of said. That's why I like to Meet the Robinsons a bit, because I like the idea of adoptive parents. Those wolves are his parents. If you want a movie to vibe with, this is the one to vibe with. Why is there like nuclear warheads? No,
Ukraine?
It's the Russians. The Russians are attacking.
My favorite character was King Louie,
Mine was Baloo.
and then Just Like You,
Mine was Bare Necessities.
and then scene was Louie, just the whole Louie scene.
My scene was Baloo trying to get into the song at Louis.
Louie
That was
is
so
such an underrated villain. Like,
That's
why don't we
so
have more
funny.
Louie love?
The fact that he was trying to save Mowgli, and then he just like, nah, the music's too good, so he walks in, dresses a monkey, he's like, hey, Desaparone.
Do they kill him? Like, I know they come back, but holy... Oh my... This movie's great!
Time to our one of the more polarizing Disney films. It's very recent. Raya and the Last Dragon. It's this high, I know. Most of you guys are like, oh! First time watching this movie, I liked it. I'm a sucker for action, and this movie has a lot of that. I like action and humor. It's not as funny, but it has some decent jokes every now and then. Like, Sisu is a little funny at the beginning, then she gets annoying, and then she kind of mellows down near the end. Boone, yeah, that's how you say his name. I had to remember how to
The
say
child.
it. The child is amazing. I love him.
They're
I love that as soon as we meet him, he is just the hyper child, and I love him.
I think he should have been the main comic relief.
Honestly.
You don't need the baby's jokes, you don't need Sisu's jokes, just his. Except for that dog joke. That was funny.
Also, you broke the gem.
But I still have a big chunk of it, though.
Is that supposed to make me feel better? If you lost a puppy and I said, well, we still have a big chunk of it, would that make you feel better?
This movie is just epic. It's probably the most anime. That's why it's kind of weak to me. It's probably the most anime Disney film, but the fight scenes are epic. I'd say the fight scenes are much better in this movie than Mulan, even though Mulan has some decent fight scenes. I do feel like they go to all these different places and it ends a little too short, just because I would like to see the world. Just because it's such an interesting world where the land is literally split into a dragon land. It's kind of cool. I like the ending. The scene whenever they're about to literally all die. My biggest thing about this movie, negative-wise, is they say trust Wade. I literally have a counter.
And learn to trust me. Trust me.
I trusted someone I shouldn't have.
You can trust me. Can I trust you? You really got some trust issues.
Father blindly trusted people, and
And she's all like, can't trust me. I trusted you.
can't trust him.
Can't trust him.
Because you don't trust them. And if you want to get someone's trust, you have to give a little trust first. I trusted them, and they trusted me.
How could I possibly trust her?
Trust me.
To trust someone from fast.
I trust you, Maury.
You didn't trust her. Trust me.
Because I trusted them, and they trusted me.
It's about trust. Finally trust each other. We'll never trust her.
The end.
Yeah.
Trust, that's the moral, and I think that the moral was supposed to be like sometimes you'll get betrayed in trust, but sometimes you have to take the first step to rebuild the world. Because the reason why the other clans didn't want to help at the beginning was because they didn't trust them.
Yeah, it's because
so like if you don't trust somebody and they don't trust you, you just create this never-ending cycle of distrust, and it never goes anywhere.
That is by far the biggest negative of this movie.
Yeah.
For me, anyways. I know other people...
Sisu literally tells Raya, man, you got some trust issues, huh? Like, keep moving forward, slap.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's basically they keep moving forward, even though that one shoves it down your throat even more.
Yeah.
I love the fight scene, especially the fight scene with Namari in the breaking down Coliseum. Holy shit. The baby is fine.
I didn't like the baby. It's just because
I'm just happy it doesn't talk, okay?
Yeah. Based on my problem with the baby is that I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to show that everyone from different groups are abandoned.
Yeah.
Like, Boone lost his family. Because the thing is, Boone basically plays the role of the baby. Like, he's the child who lost his family. Yeah, and he's funny. So what I was thinking is that we have Raya, who's a teenager, and Namari, who is about the same age from Two Lands. Then we have an adult from Spine. And then we have a child from Tail. Why didn't we have an elderly person?
I like the adult guy. He's great.
He lost his son, and like they show his
that
crib.
scene whenever it pans to the crib, holy shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of death. Although everyone comes back in this one,
everyone comes back. But
the stakes are definitely high. I love the score. The score was amazing.
Score is
epic. And this is a controversial opinion here, which he probably won't agree with. But Tuk Tuk, in my opinion, especially Baby Tuk Tuk, is the cutest Disney character. Not Pixar, Disney character.
I mean, yeah.
And this is also a controversial opinion. Namari and Raya are so gay, and I love them.
I think they are, to be
They're so gay.
I guess the one time I can agree with you, they definitely are gay.
Although I found Boone a lot more funny, Namari is a close second favorite character, just because I get the struggle she's going with. Because like at the one point where she's like, "Well, we got the dragon, we got the gems, we could just ask Raya for help, and then we can save the world." And the mom's like, "Well, we're the ones who destroyed the world, so if she fixes it, then we're all gonna be blamed."
Yeah.
Like, that's a good point. But the one thing that I could say would definitely improve this film, other than the trust motif, is I wish Sisu didn't talk. At least until she was human.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the scenes where she's not talking, like there's a scene where she shows up to Namari for the first time, and Namari breaks down in tears because she was such a big dragon fan. And it's done without dialogue, and I get a lot more emotion out of it than when she's just cracking jokes every 5 minutes.
I'm a wicked when I hit that liquid. I got water skills that kill. I slaughter when I hit the water.
She definitely calms down as the film goes on.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, she's kind of painful.
And I gotta say, that ending scene whenever it starts raining and she comes back,
yeah,
and,
the
like,
way
all the other dragons, that scene is beautiful.
The way they run on the rain, that's just so creative.
It looks so good. Like, this movie, despite being like the COVID baby, basically, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple scenes, like, mainly the dad. Raya's dad looks like a Skyrim NPC. He really does. He's got like this shine on him that just doesn't look natural to every other character. But other than him, I feel like the rest of the movie looks great.
Yeah. So there are a couple big problems, but everything else is really good.
Yeah, I just feel like...
I feel like a lot of people are a bit too hard on the movie because of its message, but I feel like they just don't understand that the message wasn't portrayed as well.
Yeah.
That's the main problem.
My first viewing of it, I think it's good.
My favorite character was Boone.
Mine was also Boone.
And there's no songs, and my favorite scene was Raya and Namari fighting at the temple at the end.
Mine was also that.
Yeah.
Is it that or the chase scene with the baby at the... Because that marketplace looks so cool.
Yeah, the Talon marketplace.
Like, that's what I was talking about. Like, everything... You were in all these cool areas, then we barely get anything there. I wish we got more of that marketplace. It looks so good.
It should have been a TV show, I think.
Honestly. Well...
That's my
I feel
opinion.
like it should have started as a movie, then maybe make a Raya TV show.
Yeah.
Marry a prince and be a princess.
Jesus, Kyle. Is this the film you watch the most?
I think so. Princess and the Frog, I've seen it a bajillion times. I know the script by heart. She was getting tired of it. Voodoo Man, epic.
One of the best Disney villains.
Louis, I love Louis.
Even though
I hate Ray. Actually, I don't hate Ray. I laughed whenever he died, though. He's just kind of like that character that just exists.
I'm literally the exact opposite. I love Ray, and I think Louis is just fine.
But Louis got the banger song. His song's so much better than Heading Down the Bayou.
The couple. No, Evangeline, My Belle Evangeline.
Yeah,
Going Down the Bayou.
That song is peak of that movie.
Yeah, okay. Other than Up, because that came out this year.
Yeah.
This is... Ray and Evangeline are the best Disney couple of that year.
That song is 100 times better than Louis' song, but I don't like Heading Down the Bayou. I think that's the weakest song in the movie.
I don't like Randy Newman songs. I thought the ones in Toy Story were fine, and I was like, oh, great, he's doing this one. And then I saw it, and it was like, great. So this is actually the first Disney movie that I saw in theaters. So
Yeah, mine was Zootopia.
Yeah.
Rednecks, yeah, whatever. They're just... You could get rid of them and it wouldn't change anything. I think they're the worst part of the movie by far.
I love Tiana. She's a really good Disney princess. I'm very happy that they chose to make their first black princess in 2D animation. I appreciate that.
But then she was a frog for 80%.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me. The thing is, the first part of this film before she turns into a frog is so well done. I'm so interested. Her princess song is amazing. And I personally think that Tiana has the best singing voice out of all the princesses.
Star.
But I think that the moral they present at the beginning, which is like, you can wish upon a star, but you got to get there with your own hard work. That'll only take you part of the way. I like that. That's a good way to update it. Like, it's not saying like, oh, wishing on a star is stupid. It's like, you got to have both. The thing that I don't like is towards the end, she realizes that like, oh, you know, it's about love. And I'm like, no, it's not about love. It's
about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour.
I think this is kind of similar to Raya in a way, because I think what the moral was is you don't want to work yourself to death, and it's about love in terms of just love in general, not romantic love. You got to have somebody to share your life with, whether it be friends or family. You can't just work forever and then go nowhere. The way they portrayed it is like, oh, it's about love. You know, I got to have a partner. So I feel like that's bad. I personally don't like Naveen. I know you love Naveen.
I love Naveen. I love Tiana, but their relationship is so artificial.
It's very rushed. I hate the romance where it's like they fight until they like each other.
I like the scene where they're dancing while Ray sings Angeline. They shouldn't instantly be like, yeah, I want to
Yeah, they're about to kiss each other
like,
already.
I love them both just because Naveen is the first prince where he's actually just like carefree, upbeat. He's not full serious. Oh, I must marry. Tiana's the complete opposite of Naveen, and just don't like them together.
He's a womanizer, and I feel like no, I'm serious. He says I've dated thousands of women, and like I guess that it's fine with that, but I feel like he wouldn't.
I just
change.
like Naveen because he's different.
He wouldn't change that quick though.
Yeah,
they needed more time.
Yeah,
and like the only other thing I could say is
you. Why did you tell me my gumbo was burning?
Why didn't you tell me my gumbo was burning?
I didn't want to talk about her because I knew you would want to do that. And I can't do that voice impression, so there you go.
Go on, give it a try for the cameras.
Choo-choo.
That's actually pretty good. Very good job.
You tell me my gumbo's burning.
That's very good. Good job.
And all the songs in this movie's a banger besides Heading Down the Bayou. It's good. It's just
good. It's not a banger. Every song is S tier and that's A tier.
Like, Dig a Little Deeper... Friends on the Other Side, the Louis song, Angeline, they're all bangers. Then Heading Down the Bayou is just okay. Like, it's good, it's just not... It's like A tier, the other songs are S tier.
I love John Goodman,
no
Big
matter
Daddy.
how much I dislike Ray, I still think all the characters
Charlotte is so funny.
Big Daddy!
Well, back into the fray!
Back into the fray!
And she's such a good friend to Tiana.
Yeah, honestly.
The thing I didn't notice before is that she only wears pink. Yeah. But when Tiana gets a mess, like, on her dress and stuff, she's got a blue dress ready. You know she bought that just for her. There's no way she would have worn that.
Yeah.
And plus, they don't look the same, like, body shape. There's no way that would have fit her.
No way.
So she had that dress. She had that dress just for Tiana. Best friend. I love it.
You said later 2 hours ago. You know when a woman says later, she really means not ever.
I think this film is great during the human parts. It's good during the
frog parts. It's just okay.
Tiana is definitely one of the best princesses. And
the only time, like, the only scene that I like between Naveen and Tiana, besides the dancing scene, is whenever he makes her mince mushrooms.
Yeah.
I think that's actually genuinely, like, kind of wholesome.
Yeah.
And Naveen's like, what the f*** am I doing?
My favorite character was Charlotte.
Mine is Louis.
My favorite song was Almost There.
I know it's Friends on the Other Side.
That's close second.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene was the ending of Friends on the Other Side.
Mine was the Ray dying.
kind of ballsy they killed him off, though.
It is, but
I
that
like
scene.
Ray.
I love the scene whenever he becomes the star next to Angelina.
That's really sweet. That almost
Why
made me
did
cry.
Up have to come out in 2009? Why couldn't it just wait one more year?
Damn! Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, the Great Mouse Detective is this high. Fuck you. Basically, Sherlock Holmes story and a mouse. That's about it. I feel like we have a lot of explaining to do for it being this high. First off, it's very funny. It's very hilarious. It's hilarious. The main villain is great. The main character is great. The side characters are great. Everything about this movie is just great.
It's the story of Sherlock Holmes as a mouse. He lives in Sherlock Holmes' house. Basil is the main mouse, and he's trying to figure out who's kidnapped this little girl's father. And the villain kidnapped the little girl's father. The villain is Ratigan, and he kidnapped the guy to make a robot version of the Queen of England, because Ratigan has this song in the middle where he has everyone around him sing his praises. Then one person calls him a rat, so he throws them outside, and a cat eats the mouse alive. He's legitimately threatening. You want to talk about the trap part?
So there's this scene near the end of the movie where the big villain guy catches Basil. Ratigan catches Basil and puts him in a death trap, and it's set up to kill him whenever Ratigan's song ends, which he puts on a tape or a recorder and plays a song that he sung about killing him. It's pretty funny.
The little girl has a weird accent, but I loved her. It took a bit, but I grew to like her. The ending is really, really good. They basically have a fight in Big Ben, like around the gears. Like there's no music. It's just the grinding of the gears. And then Ratigan falls to his death, and it's great.
My favorite character was the Bat.
Ah, yes, mine.
He was the side character.
What was
of Ratigan.
his name? Like,
I don't know. I just put Bat.
I don't know. Mine was Ratigan.
My favorite song was the Ratigan song.
My favorite
Sings
song was
in the
also
middle.
Ratigan.
And then my favorite scene was the fight on Big Ben, because that scene is...
Went to jail.
Oh.
That's just
Tax
like
evasion.
real felony tax evasion.
Hello, my fun and fancy free enjoyers. Okay, so Robin Hood. It's a very good movie. Very, 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 very good. It's just the tale of Robin Hood. Everyone knows the tale.
Yeah.
Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Mm-hmm. As a person who doesn't like furries, no offense, but I love this movie.
I think they did the anthropomorphic animals pretty well. Their size is correct. Like, the mice are really small. It's kind of like Zootopia in that way, where they actually keep them correct.
And the bear is a lot bigger than the foxes.
Although the bear looks identical to Baloo, and it's the same voice actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the song, what was the song? Like, the Phony King of England?
Yeah.
That song is literally just made up of animation from other Disney films. Aristocats, Jungle Book, Snow White. It's just... They just redid the animation. I do like Robin Hood and Maid Marian's relationship.
It's good.
It's
they
very
want to have
cute.
7 children. Or how many
Wasn't it
children?
12?
I don't know.
Have 6 children.
6? Oh, it doesn't at least.
I don't
She
know how big
horny.
I don't know how big a fox litter is, but Jesus, it's very cute. The kids aren't annoying. I do like the kids.
And the great thing is, it's horny but controlled.
Yes.
And it's between adults, not teenagers. So
Well, the only thing I don't understand is that apparently King John is Marian's uncle, and he's a lion and she's a fox, so like
Probably the marriage.
most likely.
Yeah.
The sheriff.
He's so
Oh,
funny and
I
so
love him.
good. I don't care how much of an asshole he is, he's a great asshole.
I don't know what his name is, but he played a bunch of characters in early Disney. He played
Patrick Warburton.
no, he played one of the dogs in the Aristocats. He played the mentor dog in Fox and the Hound. It's that guy.
Yeah.
His voice is very distinct, and he's just a in this movie, but he has so much fun with it that you don't care. Prince John is a whiny baby, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
He's a bit too annoying in the beginning, but it gets better.
Mama.
There is a bit of a religious undertone in this one, especially since Friar Tuck is one of the main characters.
Yeah.
But, like, it works with this setting.
Yeah.
Oodalali will forever be stuck in my head.
Oodalali.
Oodalali golly, what a day.
The only negative of this
Movie
movie
has-
is the
yeah.
jailbreak is kind of
The first half of the jailbreak is really slow and it goes on way too long. But
Like-
the second half is great.
I love jailbreaks, but this one's kind of slow.
Yeah.
Very, very slow.
Yes. So, my favorite character was Lady Cluck, that was Maid Marian's handmaiden.
And mine is Little John.
My favorite song was Oodalali.
Mine's Phony King.
Yeah, and my favorite scene was the escape at the archery contest.
I don't even know. I think it's the fountain.
Fountain?
I don't know.
I don't know what the fountain is.
He's actually giving, like, ship callouts. You probably don't know any of that, but, like,
No. How do you know that?
I played a lot of Assassin's Creed.
Oh. We're eating candy because we're tired.
Next on our list is Alice in Wonderland. This movie is just a vibe movie as well. I had to think of what I wanted to say. Literally, if you think anything about this movie, like if you think at all while watching this movie, then it's a bad movie. Just go into this movie with a mindset of like, this is just a girl's dream, because that's what it is.
Yeah, there's no real plot. It's just a journey through dreamlike nonsense.
Yeah. Everyone knows the plot of this movie. If you don't, then you lived under a rock. This movie looks phenomenal. Like, the look they were going for of inside of a child's mind, I feel like they captured it perfectly. This movie's hilarious, and that's actually a negative thing kind of for this movie, because there's a sad bit, and there's a sad song, but the sad song's ass because it's been such a high... It's basically like Home on the Range, where they have such high energy, and then they had the sad part, and it's like, well, shit. And there's a lizard with a ladder.
Basically, Alice is stuck in a house, and the dodo bird shows up, and he's like, we need a lizard with a ladder, and there just happens to be a lizard with a ladder walking right next to them.
Yeah. With this movie, there's really not a lot of talk
Nothing
about.
matters. The Cheshire Cat is an omnipotent god
Yeah.
in this universe.
He went that way.
Who did?
The white rabbit.
He did?
He did what?
Went that way.
Who did?
The white rabbit.
What rabbit?
But didn't you just say? I mean, oh dear.
Can you stand on your head?
And he's actively trying to get Alice killed.
Literally, this movie's just great. I mean, there's...
They do have murder in this movie where they talk about the walrus and the carpenter.
Yeah.
He
They
literally
eat
kills...
the
He
baby
kills
oysters.
baby oysters who are alive and sentient.
That song's also a bop.
And there's the king. Don't forget the King of Hearts.
I love the King of Hearts, because I love that he's just
There.
dominated.
He likes him strong.
He likes them Louisa built. I mean, I like them Louisa built.
My favorite character was the Cheshire Cat.
I like the lizard with the ladder.
He died, by the way.
Yeah, he died.
He was launched into the stratosphere and was never seen again. My favorite song was the Unbirthday song.
And mine was the walrus song.
My favorite scene was the introduction of Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
My favorite scene's the T scene. This was our first A-tier movie.
Yep, this was number one for quite a while.
Yeah.
Did you mess with my drugs? Those are my drugs. I'm gonna dart every predator in Zootopia. Zootopia! So, Zootopia is a movie about racism. Good night, tri-state area. I do really love the world building they did in this one. The mystery is actually really well done. It's just the reveal that's kind of I do like the allegory, and although a lot of people say that like the moral of this is on the nose, like that it's about race, I feel like for a movie that's trying to teach about race stuff to kids, it's important to have it on the nose. And the one thing that I really appreciate is that Judy Hopps herself isn't just cut and dry. Like, she's not racist. She says a couple things that can be taken as bad. Like, towards the end, she talks about, you know, it's about their biology. It's like, oh, you're not like them.
Nick, stop it. You're not like them.
Oh, there's a them now.
So she thinks of them as the other. Especially, like, that she carries around the fox repellent, even though she's friends with this fox. And, like, she immediately, like, sees the fox just walk by, and she gets really suspicious. When she walks out, and she talks to Nick, and she's trying to be nice, she says, you're a real articulate fella. So that basically says, like, you know, people like you aren't usually able to speak right, but you can, so good on you. I'm not racist.
I'm not racist. And then the scene whenever she's talking to the crowd and like saying like the biology stuff, and you're saying while Nick is just sitting there.
Yeah.
That scene is solid. Yeah. That breakup is just kind of okay to me, just because I mean there's so many other better breakups we'll get to soon. But that scene's okay. I genuinely agree with both sides. And Wilde has every right to leave after he almost got pepper sprayed in the face. And then I love the get back together scene.
Yeah, that he
holds
the
pen and it's so good.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, but like I said, some of the race stuff can be on the nose. Like, oh, a bunny can call another bunny cute, but when other animals do it, like, what is that? There's a lot of cute animals. What does that even mean?
Bunnies are good at multiplying.
There's a bunnies have joke.
Yeah. Most of the jokes in this movie I don't find funny.
There's only two jokes that land with everybody I talk to. Number one is the Breaking Bad reference, Walter and Jesse. And the second one
is the Godfather reference.
It's the Godfather
Both the
references.
Look,
he comes to me unannounced on the day my daughter is to be married.
All that scene is just the peak of cinema. I love that scene.
Mr. Big.
And I love that they even give Judy and Nick cake, and then Nick literally just one bites it.
I do like Nick. Nick was my favorite, but like his son, quote unquote, was great too.
Because the thing is,
you a cop now, Nick.
There's a movie. They're good characters everywhere. I do not like what's her face, Shakira as the gazelle.
Why?
I don't like the song.
I do.
It's a good message behind the song, but it's just way too repetitive. They use it way too many times.
Bad twist villain. She's not the worst.
She's definitely not the worst, because at least she has decent motives. Because
she's got decent motives, and I like the idea of like the sheep is like considered the most meek and shy, but it's just like there's no evidence.
Yeah, it's the reveal of her that is almost as bad as Hans.
Generally, if you want to have a twist in a movie, you want to have evidence to prove that.
You want build up.
Yeah, like foreshadowing. The only thing I could find is that on her desk, she's got a post-it note with Doug's phone number, and Doug is the sheep. But we only find out Doug is the sheep like 5 minutes before her reveal, so that doesn't do anything.
Get a better villain, then it would go better.
The one thing I did notice that I didn't notice the first time, so Nick gets shot at the end with the serum, and he's acting to stall for time.
Yeah.
Every time another animal gets shot with the stuff, their eyes turn to like the slits, like the actual animal slits. His stay around, so like that's the proof that he's faking it. There is Flash.
Don't even start me on Flash. I love Flash.
Okay.
I love Flash.
My favorite character was Nick Wilde.
Mine was Gideon.
I'm sorry the way I acted.
And I love his voice. The young Gideon, no, but whenever he gets grown up, I'm sorry.
And it manifested itself into unchecked rage and aggression. My favorite song was Try Everything, because that's the only song in the movie. F*** you. My favorite scene was the aftermath of Judy's speech, where she caused a race war. That was really well done.
Mine was The Godfather.
The Godfather reference.
That's what I put there.
His dad left. His dad
just like mine. Let's go! So the next movie is a movie that this is my first time seeing, and it might shock some people. It's Treasure Planet. This movie, I wasn't the biggest fan of at first. I did not like the mix of ships in space. It felt weird. But as the movie kept going, progressing, I really liked it. My only talk, because she's about to have a whole rant. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't really like the aesthetic mesh. Villain guy was cool. The little guy with the scissor hand. I don't remember his name.
Scroop.
Who?
Scroop.
Scrip?
Scroop.
Scroop?
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of poop humor every now and then. It's enough to... It's fine, but it is a big negative of the movie. And there were some iffy-looking parts every now and then. Every now and then. The movie looks phenomenal, but there are some parts where it kind of looks weird. Would you like to start?
So basically, Treasure Island is one of the greatest Disney films ever made. I have it low because it's got some problems, but let me just say that this movie is great. I have it on the wrong page. But
Still have it on Zootopia.
I don't care. This movie is great. I vibe with the ships in space. I vibe with that. That is so creative. I love the steampunk. Jim Hawkins is an asshole in the beginning, but you get it because his dad left, and that's something that Disney doesn't really do. They usually do, oh, the parent died. No, this one he fucking left, and that's like crazy. And also, John Silver in this one is done so well. I love the CGI in his hand. He looks so great. And he becomes this father figure to Jim, and even though he's technically the twist villain, the audience and Jim kind of know that he's the villain from the beginning because they were told, oh, it's a cyborg. But they get along so well. And, like, there's parallels to him with his real father, like how his father just got on a ship one day and sailed away. And then this time, like, John Silver gets on a boat and sails away, and then Jimmy gets really sad. But then he comes back so they can go sailing together. Like, little stuff like that is really good. John Silver from the book Treasure Island had a parrot on his shoulder, but this time we have, like, this blob called Morph, which can change into different things. Morph is so cute. I love him so much. Then there's, like, the captain who's... I think it's voiced by Emma Thompson. She's really good. She's a cat lady for some reason, and then there's a dog guy who's kind of weird, but they obviously are gonna fall in love because cat and dog. Yeah, they do canonically fuck.
You see their children at the end, they do canonically fuck.
There is a death in the movie that's kind of dark. I mean, there's two deaths, technically.
One guy gets sucked into a black hole.
One guy gets sucked into a black hole, and the other one is Scroop, one of the villains, and he gets launched into outer space. So both of those are pretty horrific.
Bro, that black hole scene looks so good.
The black hole was amazing. When they actually get to Treasure Planet, because the whole thing is like him trying to follow this map to find the treasure of 1,000 worlds. And when they actually get to Treasure Planet, it's kind of a different movie because then Ben shows up, who is voiced by Martin Short, and he's not funny. He's probably my least favorite Disney sidekick just because when I often show people this movie, I'm like, I want to show you how good this movie is. And then he shows up and I'm like, just ignore him and everything else is fine except for the farting guy. I don't know why he farts all the time. Ben has no reason to exist. Like, he just shows up and he says, oh, look at me. Welcome to Treasure Planet. I can't remember anything. And then when he gets his memory chip to remember stuff, he's like, oh yeah, there's a booby trap. And immediately after he says that, the booby trap activates. So why did you even need him to be there? The ending is nice where John Silver chooses to save Jim over getting the gold, and he gives Jim the last of the gold that he kept so his mother can rebuild her inn, which was destroyed at the beginning. Yeah, I like the growth of these two characters. This, in terms of favorites, this would be number 4. But yeah, it's a little lower. It's good because it's great because it's got problems. Yeah, I'm done with my rant now.
Okay.
My favorite character was John Silver.
I like Silver as well.
And there's only one song, I'm Still Here, which is on my t-shirt. What's your favorite song, Kyle?
I'm Still Here.
Oh, really? I like that one too. So my favorite scene was the escape from the black hole.
I put yes because I didn't really have one.
But...
got Elton John, you got Tootie, you got Russell, you got you got Snoop Dogg, you got Noodle, you got Murdoch, you got Ace, you got
Alright, they'll get your tokens out on 2D.
Okay, so Tarzan. Some people might be surprised this isn't S tier, but Phil Collins, really, he's good. I just wish it wasn't Phil Collins. He's very good in this movie, and Brother Bear, he's ass, but that's not the real reason this movie's so low. It's because Clayton. This movie is phenomenal in almost every aspect besides villains. Clayton is just boring. Very
He's
gorillas.
just Gaston again.
He's just Gaston, but not nearly as charming.
Well, Gaston's not charming. He's just entertaining.
Or funny. He says, "Where are the gorillas?"
We love the gorillas.
I love the gorillas.
Should have worn my gorilla shirt.
I mean, the music slaps. The characters are mostly good besides Turk.
And Tantower. That's the elephant.
I think Tantower is... You barely even hear any.
He doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to be
I feel like Turk actually has a purpose.
It's Rosie O'Donnell.
Like, I think she does fine. Turk literally is not that bad. At least Turk gives something to the story. As, like, a character that actually exists. That needs to exist as a person Tarzan actually has friends with. And the love between Tarzan and Jane is, mwah, I believe every second of it. Strangers Like Me is the best love song. F*** you. It's not even really a love song.
No.
It's more of just a bonding song.
Yeah.
Jane's hot. That's about it.
I love Jane. But I will say that my favorite relationship in this movie is a relationship between Tarzan and his mom, Kala, which is the gorilla.
Gorillas?
Like I said, I love adoptive parent relationships, and she's just such a good mom.
I'm so happy that she fights so hard to keep him.
Yeah. And
like, the chef is like, no, and she's like, yes.
I think this ending is better than the Jungle Book, because basically they're nearly the same movie.
Yeah. But
I feel like Tarzan and Mowgli both belong in the jungle, and Tarzan made the correct decision to stay.
Yeah, to stay.
Yeah.
Familia.
Yeah, it's his family. And then we gotta talk about Clayton's death.
Okay, before you talk about that, in Jungle Book, well, it's so bullshit in Jungle Book because he doesn't even know the girl. At least in Tarzan, he's built a relationship and still said, no, I need to stay here with my family. Oogly Boogly was like, ooga booga, woman. And Tarzan was like, ooga booga, woman, but I need to stay with my family. Like,
yeah.
Okay, now you can talk about Clayton.
Okay.
His death.
Clayton was a very bad villain. I mean, not bad.
I don't think he was. He was just boring.
He didn't make any impact.
No.
So, and then his death scene, he gets tangled up in vines and then freaking hangs himself, and you see the shadow, and I'm like, bro, that is probably the darkest Disney death.
Besides Scar getting eaten alive.
Scar does get eaten alive, but I still think that's more like just scary.
Scar is like alive. He has to sit through it. At least how someone said Gaston.
Clayton.
At least Clayton insta dies. Like, he's instantly dead as soon as he falls.
Like, I don't know. They're both pretty dark. I still think Clayton's is just darker just because, like, that's a creepy thing to put in a movie.
Yeah.
My favorite character was Kala.
Mine was Jane.
Of course. My favorite song was Two Worlds, One Family.
Mine was Strangers Like Me.
And my favorite scene was Tarzan growing up.
And mine was Tarzan and Jane whenever they were swinging.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is a movie that a lot of kids love because they love mermaids, but her whole goal is to not be a mermaid anymore.
Yeah. That's why children shouldn't have opinions.
Exactly.
I'll start since you guys already know her view on this movie. But Little Mermaid, I love this movie. I do slightly agree that Ariel's kind of a bitch. She is 16, so I can't f*** her.
Excuse me? Whoa!
The music, this is my third favorite music out of all the Renaissance films. They all slap. Every song slaps. If you say them wrong, f*** you.
I still think they all slap.
Under the Sea is a banger. Kiss the Girl's a banger. Part of Their World is a banger. Yeah, I like this movie. All the side characters are great. Ariel's kind of a bitch. Every character's good besides the chef.
So my turn.
Yeah, have fun.
Well, I do like this movie, contrary to what many people think. It's something I need to get out of the way because everyone's gonna hate me. I don't hate Ariel. I dislike her. And I actually made myself a tier list of all the Disney princesses. She's in dislike. There's no one in hate. I just think that she's kind of whiny, she's bitchy, and she doesn't actually learn anything by the end. You can say her selling her soul, basically, is wrong. That's a wrong thing to do, but she doesn't learn anything. She says, "Daddy, I'm sorry," and that's it. Literally the only thing wrong with this movie is Ariel and I guess the chef, because the chef
Replace the character, replace Ariel with Luca, and you got a phenomenal movie.
How would the romance work?
You said he's gay, so I mean...
13. The songs are absolutely wonderful. I love all of them. Ursula is one of the best Disney villains by far. I love her design. She was designed after a drag queen, so of
Body
course.
language.
I don't like when she shoves her tits in the camera.
I do.
I don't like when Ariel is ass naked.
I do.
You're 18 now. You can't do that.
She marries an 18-year-old, so I mean...
Ariel is the only Disney princess to canonically f***, so I don't know what we're doing here.
So, I mean,
Eric's cute.
my favorite character is Sebastian.
Mine was Scuttle, the seagull.
Yeah, and then my favorite song was a tie between Under the Sea and Kiss the Girl. I love Kiss the Girl. It's so
Mine's
good.
just Under the Sea.
Then my favorite scene was... No matter how much I hate the chef, I love the crab hunt. It has no reason to be there, therefore it's my favorite.
Poisson. My favorite scene was Ariel saving Eric from that ship.
Out of you.
Be a man.
Let's get down to business. Mulan.
Yes, my favorite Disney princess. Not movie, but Disney princess.
I hate the live action of this movie.
We're not talking about live action
I don't
remakes.
care. They got rid of Mushu, so f the live action. Mushu's my favorite character. Just go ahead and put it out there.
I love Mulan as a character. I just like that she doesn't start out as some legendary warrior.
Yeah,
she has to work just like everyone else. She works to earn everyone's respect.
Zero to hero?
No.
I
Make
love
a
that
Man
song.
Out of You is the best training montage song in any Disney film. Reflection's pretty
Reflection smacks, Man Out of You smacks, but then
good. The other two are
Girl
fine.
We're Fighting For and what's the other
Honor
song?
to Us All.
Honor to Us All. They're good.
There's a lot of death in this movie, and
Yeah.
it's done really well, I think.
Yeah.
Especially how Shang acts to his dad being dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's done very well.
Yeah, that whole scene where they're walking through the fire, like the destroyed village, is
Yeah.
that's hard hitting.
Just the hard cut from the song to that.
Like, the biggest problem this film has is it goes from serious to funny way too quickly.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a tone issue.
Like, very tonal issue.
Yeah, it
that's the reason why it's this low.
Yeah, I definitely think it needed the comedic sidekick of Mushu. It
but-
needs some comedy,
Dishonor on you! Dishonor on your
but I just don't feel like they can transition that fast.
Yeah, it was very jarring going from training montage to Girl Worth Fighting For to death. And the funny thing is, the song ends with them literally looking at the burnt village. Like,
Yeah.
they literally say 4, and then boom, burning village. And we're like, huh?
Yeah. The ending also has a bit of a tone issue, because I get the idea where they're dressing up the guys as girls. I get the idea, but, like, you really think that's faster than breaking down the door?
Or just fighting them, because I don't wear women's clothing. However, from your description, they're very tight. I don't think you could do kung fu moves in women's clothing.
I love Mulan's father.
I love every
He's
character in this
good.
movie.
What's his name? Shan Yu?
He's
very intimidating. Like, I literally cannot explain why I don't like him.
I like him. I just think he's very one-sided.
Yeah.
I like my villains being intimidating while having something else, like maybe being super smart or funny, like Yzma or Ratigan.
Yeah. He just talks in cliches, kind of.
And then he only says like 5 lines.
Yeah. I do like the music that plays whenever he's on screen.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't know why his eyes look like that. It's like reverse jaundice. Mulan, when she kicked his ass with that fan trick, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Mulan, by the way, is the Disney actual character with the highest body count.
Yeah.
Out of any character. I mean, things have killed more, like Dinosaur, there's a lot more death, but Mulan has killed the most by herself.
Yeah.
She killed part of her army too. I didn't realize that. Her own army was partially killed from that landslide. Bro. She's so smart, and I hate that Shang's kind of an asshole to her afterwards. Like, she literally saved everyone.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares if she's a woman?
Because
Like,
in the
literally-
original Mulan, which was told when the story takes place,
Yeah.
Mulan didn't even hide the fact that she was a woman when she went into the army. Everyone just accepted her. We do like the Emperor too.
I like the Emperor.
Bow to me! No matter how the wind howls, a mountain cannot bow to it.
That basically means go f*** yourself. So this movie is pretty good.
Yeah.
Just a bit of the tone issue. So my favorite character was Mulan.
Mine's Mushu.
And my favorite song was Make Out a Man Out of You.
Yeah, that's the best song in the movie.
Because if you don't think that, then you're wrong.
The only other song that I could probably accept is Reflection.
Yeah. My favorite scene was Mulan getting ready to leave for the army. That scene where she cuts her hair and stuff.
My favorite scene was the ending whenever all of China bowed to her.
Yeah, that was nice. It was like the end of Lord of the Rings.
Wow. As a person who's never seen Lord of the Rings, fuck off. See, he's funny. All he wants is to fuck an 8,500-year-old girl.
That's all you want to do, Kyle.
No.
Atlantis the Lost Empire is one of those Disney movies that's in the forgotten era. It really does not deserve that. This movie is pretty adult, actually. I think a lot of Disney movies are meant to be for kids. This one is definitely meant for like more of a teen audience. Could you not do that while I'm speaking? Stop!
Okay, so Atlantis. That's about a guy wanting to go find Atlantis.
The end. That's the plot summary.
That's the plot. And then whenever he finds Atlantis, one of the guys in his crew wants to take Atlantis.
Yes. And there's something about a crystal controlling everything.
Yeah,
and
that's the part where it gets confusing.
Taking the royal family. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. I think this movie's strength relies in its side characters. Like, every single side character in this film has their own backstory.
Whoa!
Mole's literally the only one who doesn't have a backstory.
I don't care.
They're like, I don't think you want to know.
Because he dug his way to China.
This is one of the very first Disney movies to actually have, like, characters of all different ethnicities come together, and they all have names.
And where you like the side characters more than the main characters.
Yeah, Milo does not look 32. I'll say that. I love the culture of Atlantis. It's kind of bullshit that they can speak every language because they have a root dialect, because by that logic, I should be able to speak German. So, like,
I can Walden.
What the schnitzel? It's very beautiful. It gets a little convoluted towards the end, like what exactly is going on, and the villain's kind of ass. But other than that, like, movie's great. The climax of this film is so well done.
The villain, this is the one villain where, like, there's no redeeming qualities. He's just ass. He's not
jerk.
charming. He's not really all that intimidating.
Yeah.
He's just kind of ass.
Yeah.
And that really brings them... how confusing it gets near the end is what brings this movie down.
He looks nearly identical to the villain from Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
They look just about the same.
Yeah. The action in this movie is very good.
Yeah.
And then I love the driving scene whenever they get the little cars.
Yeah.
And then they drive through.
You believe the scope of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and also there's a lot of death. Like, half the crew dies from, like, the first minute.
And then the beginning of the movie is...
half of Atlantis dies.
Cinema.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Atlantis, go watch it now.
So my favorite character was Audrey, the mechanic.
Rhino's Mole.
Of course it was. There's no songs, and my favorite scene was the final battle against the villain.
Mine was Mole.